The moment you get close to an avoidant, really close, something happens inside their brain that they cannot control, cannot explain, and most of the time, cannot even feel happening. Their brain classifies your love the same way it would classify danger. Not metaphorically, literally. The same alarm system that fires when someone is about to be attacked, fires when you say, "I love you." And Daniel Goleman gave this exact mechanism a name almost 30 years ago. He called it the Amygdala Hijack. And once you understand how a hijack works, every confusing thing an avoidant has ever done to you, the sudden coldness, the picking fights out of nowhere, the disappearing right after your most beautiful moments together, all of it will finally make sense. Because you were never fighting with a person, you were fighting with an alarm system. Stay with me, because near the end of this video I'm going to show you the one specific moment when the hijack is most likely to fire, and it is almost always right after the best day of your relationship. If you have ever been abandoned right after things got good, this will explain your entire relationship. Before we go deeper, drop the word hijack in the comments right now. Just that one word. It tells me you're actually here, and it pushes this video to the people drowning in this exact confusion. And if you want to understand human behavior at the level of the nervous system, not surface-level dating advice, subscribe, because that is the only level we work at here. So let's start with the science, because the science is the key that unlocks everything. Daniel Goleman, in his work on emotional intelligence, describes something that happens inside the human brain when it perceives a threat. Deep in your brain, there is a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Its job is simple: keep you alive. It scans everything, every face, every tone of voice, every situation, and asks one question, over and over, thousands of times a day. Is this dangerous? And here is the critical part. The amygdala is fast, much faster than the thinking part of your brain. Goleman explained that when the amygdala decides something is a threat, it doesn't wait for permission, it doesn't consult logic. It seizes control of the entire system before your rational mind even knows what's happening. Your thinking brain gets the memo after the reaction has already started. That takeover, that moment when the alarm system overrides the rational mind, is what Goleman called the amygdala hijack. Now, think about what that means. During a hijack, a person is not choosing their behavior. Their body is flooded with stress chemicals. Their perception narrows. Their thinking brain, the part that remembers you're safe, that remembers you love them, that remembers last week was wonderful, goes partially offline, and they react: fight, flight, freeze, shut down. Here is the question that changes everything. What teaches the amygdala what counts as a threat? Because the amygdala is not born knowing. It learns. It learns from experience, especially early experience. And this is where the avoidance story begins. Picture a child, small, powerless, completely dependent. This child does what every child does, reaches for comfort, cries when scared, shows their feelings openly, because they haven't learned yet that feelings can be dangerous. And now imagine what happens when that reaching is met with silence, or irritation, or a parent who turns away, or worse, a parent who punishes the need itself. Stop crying. Don't be so sensitive. Go to your room until you can behave. What does the child's amygdala learn? Not through words, through repetition, through hundreds of small moments. It writes one rule into the deepest part of the nervous system. Reaching for closeness leads to pain. Needing someone is dangerous. Vulnerability gets punished. And the amygdala never forgets a survival rule. That is its entire job, to never forget. So the child adapts. Brilliantly, actually. They stop reaching. They become self-contained, independent, low maintenance. The kid who never gives any trouble. And it works. The pain stops, or at least gets manageable. The strategy is a success, but the child grows up, and the rule comes with them. Now they're an adult, and they meet you. And here is where I need you to pay very close attention, because this is the part nobody explains properly. The avoidant is genuinely attracted to you. In the beginning, everything works, because in the beginning, there is no real closeness yet. It's exciting, it's light, there's distance built in. Their alarm system stays quiet. You see their charm, their depth, their potential. They feel free and alive. Many avoidants are at their absolute best in early relationships, and this is why. But then the relationship does what healthy relationships do. It deepens. You start needing them. You start expecting things. You say, "I love you," and wait for it back. You talk about the future. You get closer. And their amygdala, that ancient guard dog, trained by a childhood you never saw, starts to growl. Because remember the rule it learned: closeness leads to pain. Your love, your beautiful, genuine, healthy love, matches the exact pattern the alarm was built to detect. The amygdala cannot tell the difference between a mother who punished need 30 years ago and a partner who simply wants intimacy today. It doesn't do nuance, it does pattern matching, and you match the pattern, so the hijack fires. And now watch what it looks like from the outside, because you have seen every single one of these. The sudden mood shift after a wonderful weekend together, that's a hijack. The picking of a fight over something absurd, the dishes, a text, your tone, right when things were getting deeper. That's not about the dishes. The alarm needed an exit, and the brain manufactured a reason. Goleman pointed out that during a hijack, the rational mind doesn't shut off completely. It gets recruited. It becomes the lawyer for the alarm. It generates justifications. She's too needy. This is moving too fast. Maybe I don't really love her. The avoidant believes these thoughts completely, because they can't feel the alarm underneath producing them. The going quiet for days after you were vulnerable with them. Hijack, the freeze response. The "I need space" that comes out of absolutely nowhere. Hijack, flight. Think about that for a second. Every behavior that made you lie awake asking, "What did I do wrong?" None of them were responses to you. They were responses to an alarm that was installed before you existed. And this is the tragic irony at the center of loving an avoidant. The more safely you love them, the more danger their brain detects. Your consistency, your warmth, your openness, the exact things that should heal them, are the loudest triggers. You cannot outlove a smoke detector. It doesn't matter that there's no fire. It was wired to smell smoke in closeness, and you are close. Now, the moment I promised you at the start, the moment the hijack is most likely to fire. It is not during conflict. It is not when things are bad. It is right after peak intimacy, the perfect vacation, the night they actually opened up and told you about their childhood, the morning after they said "I love you" first. That is when the alarm screams loudest, because that is when the closeness is deepest, and closeness is what the system was built to detect. So they give you the best day of the relationship, and then vanish, go cold, or start a fight within 72 hours. If that pattern just hit you like a truck, the crash right after the peak, now you know. It was never a coincidence. It was a schedule. So what do you actually do with this understanding? Because understanding without action just becomes a more sophisticated way to stay stuck. First, stop taking the hijack personally. This is not about excusing the behavior. The behavior still hurts you, and hurt is hurt. But when you stop reading their withdrawal as a verdict on your worth, you take back the part of yourself you've been handing to their alarm system. Their coldness was never a measurement of your value. It was a measurement of their fear. Second, understand what you cannot do. You cannot reason with an amygdala. During a hijack, Goleman's work is clear. The thinking brain is offline. Explaining, pleading, proving your love harder in those moments is like reading poetry to a fire alarm. And more love equals more closeness equals a louder alarm. This is why everything you tried made it worse. Not because you tried wrong, because the target was unreachable from the outside. Third, know the only thing that actually rewires this. Goleman's entire body of work points to one answer: self-awareness. The hijack loses its power only when the person having it learns to see it happening, to feel the alarm rising and name it, "This is my alarm, not reality." That skill can absolutely be built. Therapy builds it. Real self-reflection builds it. But here is the line you cannot cross for them. They have to be the one holding the tools. You cannot install self-awareness in another adult's brain if they are not actively doing that work, not promising it, doing it. Then you are not in a relationship with a healing person. You are in a rotation with an alarm system. And fourth, turn this lens on yourself. Because here is the question underneath all of it. Why has your nervous system stayed calm inside a relationship that keeps sounding alarms? Some of us learned young to be the calm one in a stormy house, to manage other people's alarms as the price of belonging. If chasing unavailable love feels strangely like home, that is your pattern to look at, and your healing, unlike theirs, is fully in your hands, starting today. So here is the truth to carry out of this video. You were never too much. Your love was never the problem. You walked into a building with a broken smoke detector, and you spent months, maybe years, trying to prove there was no fire. But the detector doesn't need proof. It needs repair. And repair is an inside job that only one person can sign up for. Choose people whose alarms don't fire at the sound of your love. They exist. And the version of you that stops auditioning for hijacked brains is the version that finally finds them. If this explained things no one else could, drop hijack in the comments and stay close. Because in the next video I'm breaking down the 5 things an avoidance brain does during no contact, and why their silence is not what you think it is.